Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been quite a long time since I last posted a video. I've been quite busy. Today I wanted to do a quick tarot deck review. I don't normally do tarot deck reviews on this channel, but this is a very unique and beautiful deck that I got just yesterday. This is a deck that's made by a French woodblock printmaker called Nicolas Amoroso, who's actually has his workshop in Edinburgh, Scotland. And I was given the link to this store by Justin Michael, and immediately I bought one that came with the box. And then a bit later I realized I should probably get a backup deck, because I often misplace decks for some time and then find them again. So anyway, I have the one deck with the box, and then I asked Nicholas if he could send me one, if I could purchase one without a box. So he made a separate listing, and then I purchased an additional deck. So this is the box that it comes in. These boxes are made handmade by Nicholas, and it's very beautiful. Kind of difficult to see against my oak table here, but let me show you what it is. This deck is very, very unique, very beautiful. It is in fact made from wood blocks. Let me just take it out. It comes with this beautiful pull tag, which is very handy. This is the one deck and the other deck. So let me show you what it looks like. Now, as I said, this is the it's made from wood blocks, and Nicholas is actually a woodblock printmaker. He makes other stuff. He has a lot of other artwork that he sells in a different store, but this is the one store that he sells the Tarot de Marseille. This is based on the Nicolas Conver, as you can tell by the look, and it's absolutely beautiful. I'm so happy that I bought two. Keep one safe, and then I'm going to use the other one. So let me show you what it looks like. You can see the ink on it. So now how Nicholas makes these is he puts the colors down first, from the lightest color through to the darkest color, one color layer at a time. And then finally, the last stage, he puts on the black lines to give it that very distinctive black line work. And what makes this one very unique is that the colors are printed on here rather than stenciled. Traditionally, they would have used stencils, and it's the kind of the old way of doing it. But this way that he has done is very similar to the Japanese woodblock printmaking, which is very different in that each color, say for example the greens, would be carved out in relief on a separate woodblock, and then that block would be inked, the paper would be put down on top, and then rubbed or pressed, depending on what technique he's using. So that means every single deck, every single card has its own color wood block carved out in relief, which is really incredible. And as you can see, some of them even have two. For example, here you can see that he has done the light blue, and underneath is the flesh color. So he would have carved one flesh color block and one light blue block, and then printed them, similar to how they would have done with the stencil work. In the past, they would have made stencils that overlap to create different colors. So they would take a blue and then a yellow to make a green. Anyway, let me show you this deck. So this is the front. The back looks like this. Got this really beautiful motif on it. Let me show you the cards. Now I was very lucky to get this. Thanks to Justin Michael for sending me the link, which I immediately jumped on. I think it's absolutely stunning. I will put a link down in the description below to Nicolas's stores, both his Terre de Marseille store on Etsy and his other woodblock stuff that he has. He's got some really beautiful stuff. Here you can see the beautiful black lines. Such a gorgeous deck. You can see it's very typical Nicolas Conver, the VT. Here you can see quite clearly the two different colors that have been applied here, both the pinkish flesh color and the light blue, to make this kind of a grayish color. Trying not to get the light to reflect. And one thing about this deck that's hard to express here through the video is the beautiful ink smell. So strong and so beautiful. We always think about these decks and how they looked back in the days gone by, but I'm sure when these decks were purchased back in the 1700s, they would have had a very strong ink smell, which is beautiful. So stunning. The moon card is absolutely gorgeous. I really love how the colors came out. So beautiful on this. He really had chose a very good color palette. And again, each individual color is separately inked and printed using wood blocks. It's very unique. I will put a link in the description below to Japanese woodblock printing. It's a technique that they've been using for hundreds of years. You can still get a similar thing. They do it in other countries too, but I think the most well-known is the Japanese woodblock printing. Just one more thing that I did, because I bought two decks, I plan to use one and plan to archive one. So what I have done with the deck that I plan to use, I have put on a traditional soap finish on here. So it makes the deck smoother and we'll be able to shuffle faster and slide better. There's nothing wrong with this one. It's totally gorgeous. I'm gonna keep this one like it is with these beautiful ink printed lines, block printed lines, but I'm gonna use this one and I'm going to soap it. I put the soap on here using the traditional way that, the way that I normally do it is I use the soap very, I can say very viscous, almost with the consistency of like mayonnaise, and then brush it on, and then slowly let it dry a little bit, and then I buff it. But for this one, because I wasn't exactly sure how this ink would react to the soap, so I used a semi-solid block of soap, just rub it on gently, and then buff it out with a soft cloth. But both are fine. Both techniques work fine for me. But for my deck that I'm going to be using, mine is going to be with the soap finish. You can see the slight difference. Whereas here it has a more consistent glass finish because it's smoother. Whereas here you can see it has more of the lines that were block printed. But I kind of like this for a deck that I'm going to be using. I like the cards to slide a little bit better. And I'm going to keep the original like this too. Anyway, just show them one more time. You can pause the video at any time, and I'll be putting a link in the description, as I mentioned before, to his beautiful works that he's got. There is one of his block prints in his other store that I really like. It's a Godzilla, and I know sometimes I kind of feel like a Godzilla, especially on some bad days when you just want the world to burn. So I'm gonna be buying that print, put it on my wall, probably by my bedside, to remind myself of who I should not be. But anyway, I just thought I'd make this quick video to show this absolutely beautiful deck that I have just purchased and just received yesterday. I do have a few more videos coming up. I've got a couple of other decks that I've been working on. There's one video that I'm going to be making very shortly. It's a beautiful handmade deck, not handmade by me, but by an amazing person called Carol. She has colored a deck for me, hand colored, and it's so beautiful. So I'll be making a video on that, and then I'll probably be doing a follow-up video on how I put the soap on here, just so if you do want to do it for yourself. And I would highly recommend that you buy this deck. It's one of the most beautiful things I think you can purchase, and the price is quite affordable and quite reasonable, considering that this is art. Not just any art, it's art that you can actually use. It's art that can fit in your pocket, art that you can carry around with you, and it's art that you can use for divination. Not many pieces of art you can do that with, especially not today with the modern art that exists. So anyway, I highly recommend this deck, and once again, thank you very much for watching, and I will be making a few more videos shortly. Hope that you have a great day, and take care.